On this jam-packed episode of Japanese Gaming Weekly, we'll take a look at Nintendo's Direct Mini and Xbox's Games Showcase, check out the first gameplay for Atelier Ryza 2, and hear about the new game from the creators of Suikoden. Let's get into it. Welcome to Japanese Gaming Weekly, the show where we break down the biggest news from the world of Japanese games every single Monday. If this sounds up your alley, then be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest news. Alright, to start this thing off, let's talk about Shin Megami Tensei 5. Atlus debuted a brand new trailer showcasing the protagonist and more of the city, but again, there was no gameplay, which is a little unfortunate. Now, one great piece of news is they announced that this game will have a simultaneous worldwide release for Nintendo Switch in 2021. Now, I honestly can't remember the last time Atlus had a worldwide simultaneous release. It has definitely not happened for Catherine, or any past SMT game, or Persona, so it's really great to hear this, and hopefully this can be the trend going forward, and hopefully we can see some gameplay maybe at Tokyo Game Show. In more SMT news, Atlus announced Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. So now this remaster of the PS2 classic will have upgraded visuals, it'll be totally upgraded, some new enhancements, it will have voice acting, which is really neat, and a new merciful difficulty setting, which I know this game is notoriously difficult, so it's really nice that they're making it a little bit easier. Now, from what I read, this is based off the Maniacs Chronicle Edition, which did not include Dante from the Devil May Cry series, but instead Raido Kuzunoa from the Devil Summoner series, so Dante will probably not be in this game from what I understand. Now, this is releasing October in Japan and spring 2021 for the rest of the world for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Now, this is really cool. I'm glad that SMT fans are finally getting their day in the sun after Persona has really taken over things for Atlus games for these dungeon crawlers. So I've not played an SMT game before, so I'm super excited to try one or both of these games. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So last week's lead story was the tease of Atelier Ryza 2, and it has been officially announced as Atelier Ryza 2, Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy. Now, this game is set to release this winter worldwide for PC, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. Now, the brief trailer showcased a bigger town with some new gameplay features. Now, I could be wrong, these might not be new gameplay features. I haven't finished Ryza, but I played a good chunk of the game and I did not see these in the original. So they showcased a grappling hook, swimming, riding animals, so it seems like they're really blowing this game up and they're doing a ton of new stuff. Now, what's kind of weird is that Koei Tecmo US has a video set to debut on July 29th on the official English website. So I'm not sure why this didn't debut in the English Direct, but be patient for a couple more days. We'll get an English trailer. Maybe we'll have some voice acting. We'll wait and see. All right, let's move on to the Xbox Games Showcase, and one of the coolest things that was announced in the pre-show, and that was that Dragon Quest XI's Definitive Edition is coming to Xbox One, and it'll be the first Dragon Quest game that's ever been on an Xbox console, and it will be available day one on Game Pass. So if you're a subscriber, you can definitely look forward to that. Now, this Definitive Edition is also coming to PC and PS4. However, it comes attached with a few bad pieces of news. Now, the first piece of bad news is that there is no upgrade option available for current PC and PS4 owners. Now, for me, this is a huge bummer. This is a game that, we were there day one, we were there early, we didn't get this new enhanced content, so it's a real bummer. And the other piece of bad news is that this is based on the Switch port, which obviously is not as dense with visuals. They had to downgrade some of the polygons and some of the character models and the environments. So essentially, it's an up-resed version of the Switch version, so it's not going to look as good as the original PS4 and PC versions, which really sucks. I'm kind of bummed about that. But if you've never played this and you're looking to get the new content and you don't want to play on the Switch for whatever reason, all these new versions will release December 4th, and it will be released for $40. Now, Square Enix announced another really cool game called Balan Wonderworld. So this is a 3D platformer led by Yuji Naka of Sonic fame. And I gotta say, this trailer was super colorful, super fun, getting definitely like some Hat in Time vibes, some Mario 64, maybe some Mario Odyssey vibes. It looks really, really cool. And one of the neat things is that there are over 80 costumes with various abilities. So it seems like there is a lot of different ways that you're gonna be able to play this. Now, they didn't share too many specifics on the gameplay, but you can check out the trailer here. It looks really, really colorful, and it's releasing spring 2021 for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch. Did you get all that? So if you're a fan of 3D platformers, definitely check this out. I'm really, really excited about it, and I can't wait to play. Now, one thing that Sega has been doing that's really cool is reviving Phantasy Star Online 2. And in the Xbox Games Showcase, they announced Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. Now, Initially, this was kind of a confusing messaging. They initially said that this was an expansion to Phantasy Star Online 2, but if you look at this trailer for like more than 5 seconds, you'll know that, wow, the graphics are much better, it plays differently. So they eventually released a video later detailing the differences, and so I'm gonna go over a few of them here. So first, this is essentially an enhanced version of PSO2 to kind of make it future-proofed, and it has a new graphics engine and clearly a new gameplay style. It looks much more action-heavy, and the cool thing is that this will coexist alongside the current PSO2, so you can swap your characters back and forth. If you have a player in the current game, it'll be able to carry over, and it's set to release in 2021 for PC, Xbox One, and Series X in North America, and also for PS4 and Switch in Japan. So now it's unclear if Microsoft has permanent or timed exclusivity on this game, but I have to imagine that this will eventually come everywhere in the West. But I gotta say, it looks really, really cool. I got a lot of Xenoblade vibes from it. It definitely looks like it pulls from that. Much more open world. They call it open field. They're very specific to call this open field. But there is a really great video that breaks this all down. So I'm gonna link to that here on the screen somewhere or in the description, so you can go check it out and you can see all the differences and exactly what this game is. Next, there was a brand new trailer for Yakuza Like a Dragon. Now this is gonna have an English voice dub with proper lip syncing, which is awesome news, and it's also coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X. Now there was a store page leak that said this was coming out November 17th, but that has not been confirmed. But I would say that you can probably count on this game releasing sometime in November. And to close out the news from the Xbox Games Showcase, I want to talk about a retro-themed RPG called Echo Generation. Now, they didn't really talk too much about it, but I just thought it looked really cool and I wanted to talk about it with you guys. So apparently this is set in a small town in the early 90s, and you are a bunch of kids investigating a strange crash. And I just gotta say, I love the art style. I love the kind of Stranger Things vibe from this. Kids going on an adventure. I love that theme. I love that. Like, anybody that grew up in the 80s and 90s, I think could really appreciate that. And it's set to release in 2021 for Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC, so definitely keep an eye out for that one. All right, let's get to Eiyuden Chronicles. This is a game that I think everybody was really excited about. So this is a Suikoden spiritual successor. And the official title is Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. So that's right, you're gonna get 100 characters that you're gonna be able to play as. Now this is being developed by Rabbit and Bear Studios, which was established earlier this year. It has several key staff members from the original Suikoden series, including Yoshitaka Murayama, who's writing this story and worked on the first 2 Suikoden games, which are widely considered to be the best 2. Now they will be launching a Kickstarter campaign on July 27th, seeking $500,000 for a PC release, and a yet unannounced stretch goal for PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch ports. Now, a few key gameplay features are 100 playable characters, like I said, not 108 like the past games, but I mean, it's 100 characters, it's pretty close. You will have a growing fortress town just like in the past games. You'll be improving features, assigning jobs, just getting stronger. So if you love Suikoden, this is about the closest you're ever gonna get, and it has so many of the returning staff members that it might as well just be Suikoden. Now, they didn't really show any gameplay yet. There was a very brief gameplay tease, and then they've posted a few screenshots, and so far it looks really great. It honestly reminds me of Octopath Traveler with the 2D side-scrolling look and the way it does the lighting and everything. It looks really incredible, and by the time this video goes live, I think the Kickstarter will also have gone live and should have a new trailer, so I'll link that in the description if you want to go fund it. I'm sure it'll get funded by the end of the day, no problem. So I quickly wanted to share an update from a story I talked about last week. So last week we talked about NIS America delisting some Danganronpa games, and Spike Chunsoft has officially announced they will be taking over publishing rights for the series. Now, they didn't share any details. In fact, they just said details are to come. And if I were you and you want to play these games on Vita, but for whatever reason you have not yet, I would grab them now, because I'm not so sure Spike Chunsoft is going to re-release those games on Vita. So here are the dates on screen when they're all going to get delisted. So I would make sure that you grab the games that you want. If you want to get them digitally, of course, the physical versions will always be out there. But if you want to grab this digitally, I would do it now before it's too late. Next, Famitsu shared a development update for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, where they interviewed a bunch of the staff members. So they shared that it is in development, which I thought they already said late last year, but I guess now it's officially official, whatever that means. And now there are a couple choice quotes that I want to pull out and talk about, but if you want to see the full breakdown, I would go check out the article on Gematsu, which I'll link down below. It has a really great breakdown of all the different things that all different staff members said. But the thing that I want to talk about is what Tetsuya Nomura said. He says that he wants to increase the quality further for Part 2 and release it as quickly as possible, which seems sort of like an oxymoron. I don't know how you increase the quality, yet get it out faster. And they also want to make the future plans of the series clear once they reveal this next game, which I think a lot of people would love to hear. It's kind of unclear what's going to happen with this next game. How many games are we getting? How many parts? When are we going to get them? So I think it's imperative that they share that. And he also said that he was surprised by Jessie's popularity, which I think is kind of funny. I mean, they gave her this big backstory and they provided opportunities for us to learn about her. So to me, it really isn't that much of a surprise, but it's funny that he would share that. And then Naoki Hamaguchi, the co-director of the game, said, "You'll be waiting for a little while, but please look forward to it." So I don't know how many years we're gonna have to wait. I think there are a lot of naysayers saying, oh, we're gonna wait another 5+ years. They already got the engine, they already got the framework. I think 3 to 4 years is what you can probably expect. They know what's gonna happen. They have everything ready to go. So I don't think we're gonna have to wait another 5 years, but hey, it's Square Enix, so who knows? All right, next there was a remake for Fate Extra announced. Now, Fate Extra, I guess, was a PSP RPG that was released back in the early 2010s. Now, this is a game I never played, but a lot of people seem to be really excited for this, especially considering how popular the Fate series is right now. So there's some gameplay shown, and they mentioned that there's gonna be some enhanced visuals and gameplay features, obviously for a remake for a 10-year-old game. That makes sense. Now, there was no release date announced. However, they did say that this is gonna be released for current gen platforms. Now, that's probably a little too vague considering we are on the precipice of a new generation of consoles, so current gen could be next gen in a few months, who knows. But if you're a big fan of the Fate series, definitely keep an eye out for this one. It looks pretty cool. So any Jet Set Radio fans out there, then you're definitely going to be excited for this game, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. What a really great name, by the way. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, that's such a cool name. So very clearly this is a Jet Set Radio spiritual successor, and it will have music from Hideki Naganuma, who did the original soundtrack for those games. And outside of this very short teaser that you're looking at, there really isn't anything else to be shared. They said that this is going to be released for PC in 2021, and I have to imagine that if it sells really well, it'll get released elsewhere, but not much else to share at this point. But it looks really, really cool, so definitely keep an eye out for that one if you're a big Jet Set Radio fan. So I kind of already talked about this Genshin Impact news in my previous video on Friday, but in case you missed it, Genshin Impact is set to release sometime before October on PC and mobile. Now, the console versions clearly need some work. There is going to be a second closed beta for PlayStation 4 beginning on July 30th. It might be too late to join it by the time this video goes out, but I'll leave a link in the description so you can go sign up and you can try your best. And there's also rumors of an open beta, so I'll let you know on this show or somewhere on Twitter if that gets announced, but it's really cool to finally get a release window. I didn't think that it would make it this year, to be totally honest, especially considering how bad the PS4 beta ran. Maybe with the second closed beta, they'll improve the load times and the frame rate, and it'll be ready to go hopefully by the end of the year. All right, next, I want to quickly run through a couple sales announcements. So Persona 5 Royal recently topped 1.4 million copies sold, and that's pretty phenomenal. I think between the base version and this new Royal version, it's probably sold close to 5 million copies. I don't know that for sure, but Atlas did share that the series overall has sold over 13 million copies, which is really awesome. I gotta say, it's really weird to look at how big Persona is now, considering how super niche it was back on the PS2, but it's so great that so many people are finding the series and enjoying it. Now, like I said in my last video, I would expect Atlas to release a ton of more PC ports. Clearly there's an audience for it. Clearly it's gonna sell well. So you PC fans out there, keep an eye out for Persona 3 and Persona 5 ports coming to PC, because I have to imagine within the next year we'll get some kind of announcement. Next, Friends of Mineral Town has been selling really well for Xseed in the West. They shared that it's already sold 100,000 copies on Switch alone, which I guess is Xseed's fastest selling game ever. And they also shared that Rune Factory 4 Special for Switch also topped 100,000 sales in North America, which I gotta say was really surprising for both of these, but clearly there is a strong appetite for these games. Now, I don't know if this is old fans coming back and are excited about this. I don't know if this is people coming from Stardew Valley, which has sold over 10 million copies, and they're just looking for more games like it. I think one piece of anecdotal evidence is my review of Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, is like one of my most watched videos now. I didn't really expect that many views. It's really blowing up, and I really appreciate anybody that's watched it. And I think people are hungry for more of these games. My comments are filled with people wanting more of these games. They're saying Magical Melody, It's a Wonderful Life, all these different games, Trio of Towns. They're wanting remakes. They're wanting more of these games, and I would stay patient. Rune Factory 5 is right around the corner, hopefully maybe sometime late next year, but I wouldn't be surprised if Marvelous starts remaking some of these other more popular Harvest Moon games. All right, lastly, for some sales figures, I know this is not a JRPG, but I know a lot of you out there are playing this game and would probably be interested to hear that Ghost of Tsushima has already topped 2.4 million copies sold, which I guess is Sony's fastest selling new IP on PS4, which is a very specific stat to share. At first, that didn't sound that impressive because it's like, what? The Order 1886 and Days Gone, it outsold that, okay. But that also means it outsold Horizon Zero Dawn, which I think has sold over like 10 million copies so far. So I think this is a great indicator that Ghost is going to sell really well and is probably going to get a sequel in the future. And I have to say that I've really been enjoying my time with it. Let me know what you guys think of Ghost of Tsushima if you've been playing it and just what you think about it. Now, to highlight a game that I think not enough people are talking about, I want to share an upcoming game. Chris Tales now has a demo available, and this has a really unique, gorgeous art style, cool turn-based combat, and you can try the demo right now for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. I have unfortunately not had an opportunity to play it yet, but I'd be curious to hear what you guys think. I think this is a really cool game that a lot of people should be checking out. All right, let's go to the release date roundup. We actually have quite a few this week. So in a weird piece of news, Death End Request 2 will be moving up a week and will be releasing August 18th on PC. However, it's still coming to PS4 on August 25th. So if you were looking to buy this game on PC, then hey, good for you, you can play it a little bit early. Next, the soccer-themed Captain Tsubasa Rise of New Champions is out August 28th for PC, PS4, and Switch. And I just want to mention real quick, the reason why you're seeing a photo and not game footage is that Bandai Namco regularly flags and demonetizes all my videos. So unless it's some kind of review or I have approved footage, I'm just never going to show footage from them again. So I apologize, but hey, if you're interested in some soccer anime action, then this game is coming out next month. Next, the Pokemon-inspired Nexomon Extinction will be releasing August 28th for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Now, I don't really know much about it. It said there's over 1 million players. I don't know if this is a mobile game or whatever, but it looks kind of interesting. I think I'm gonna do a review on it or some kind of video, so keep an eye out for that sometime in the future. Next, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim got delayed a few weeks to September 22nd, and it's still releasing exclusively on PS4. Now, the reason why I think this got delayed is they did say that there will be a day one patch with English voice acting. Now, previously they said that this was going to get patched in later, so I guess they figured if it was only going to take an extra 2 weeks, might as well just delay it and make sure it's there day one, which I really appreciate. Thank you, Atlas, for taking the time to do that. So if you are excited for 13 Sentinels, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, but now you'll have the option with English voice acting. And lastly, to touch on a game we talked about last week, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin will be releasing November 10th on PC, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. And I got a lot of requests from you guys to make a video about it, so keep an eye out for that over the next couple weeks, couple months. I'm definitely going to share what this game is all about, and then of course, I definitely want to do a review sometime in November to tell you if it's any good or not. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned Genshin Impact. Now, if you want to learn even more about that game, definitely check out my video about my beta impressions and a recent video I did that was answering all your questions about the beta that I didn't answer in that initial video. I think this is going to be a really cool game. If you can get by the free-to-play mechanics, I've really enjoyed it, and I think you guys will as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.